According to the Institute of Unfinished Research, 6 out of 10
Oh, oh,
people.
oh, we are live. We are live. Okay, my name is Antoine Vel. I'm going to tell you about the Developers on Demand topic today. It's an offer that we started a few years ago, but more and more people are using it now, and I think it's good to explain what it is today through this presentation. All right. So now if you ever look on Google or on different search engines about developers, if you look such a term like developer shortage, you will see that you have tons of results. It's not about hundreds of results, but it's more like millions of results. And this situation is not going to change. As you know, with the COVID and the digitalization, more and more clients are going full on the web, full on ERPs, and they need those kind of developers. And I'm not even talking here about Python developers or Python Odoo developers, which is a specific term, of course. If you ever look at the following companies, they will tell you all the same. There's a huge developer shortage at the moment on the market. So that's important, whether we are talking about big recruiters, whether we are talking about people that know what's happening on those digitalization platform and that know about that topic, they are all going the same direction. You know our boss, and you know that Fabien is very, very pragmatic about that, and he says always, please follow Odoo's implementation methodology, but it doesn't mean that there shouldn't be any development. It means that you should challenge at all time. If there's a need, a real need for development, it doesn't mean that there shouldn't be any. We need to challenge, we need to see if there is a return on investment when we propose that development, and we need to think of the technical depth. But in the end, sometimes you may need it, you may need development. And what if you need it really? What can you do if you need it and you don't have, your client need it and you don't have the resources available at the moment? In that case, should you turn down a project? Should you think, okay, I'm going to refuse that one because I don't have the resources to achieve what my client wants? On our side, we say simply no way. We want to cover you. We want that you have a solution, and we want, same as with the consultants, here with the developers, we want to find a solution so that we can work together and earn that prospect. You know that we have been covering you with training, with functional consultant or business analyst, as we call them, or project managers. We had trainings for the development as well, and now we put in place a team of around 40 different people that will be able to work with you on different developments that you will ask. So our mission on this one is to make it possible for you to accept projects that you would otherwise have to turn down simply because you don't have enough developers. We simply propose to boost your own development team by adding your own, our own resources, meaning that your own development team could be just one person, several people that are fully busy, or even on your side, for some partners, project managers that have technical knowledge and that could be handling our team from distance. Talking about that introduction, that's very good, but what can we do concretely in terms of development? Usually, and I'm going to spend a few minutes on this slide, we talk about several things here that our development team can do. I will start with a new and existing module development. It's pretty much the same. The only difference is that here we could be bringing an extra new module that doesn't exist on Odoo, a new application for which we don't even have a workaround available, but it could be also an extension of a module of an application that works already with Odoo. The example I always take is the following. You have the website application and the rental application, each on its side in Odoo. If you want a website rental application and that you want a specific development with a portal access for your users, with something in backend as well for the configuration of your prices, for the terms and things like that, then you can ask that to our development team. It's new development that is a mix of things that already exist in Odoo. Anyway, it's done the same way. It's a new folder, as you know, as you are a technical person. It's a new application with everything you need inside the folder, with the models, with the different views, with the customization of reports eventually, with the security as well. All of that is included in what we call a new module development. That is a bit for the back end, but for the front end, we also have everything that is related here, top right, about the website themes, the widget, and the different features that you will find on the website. When we talk about the themes, it's more like the look and feel that your website can have, the color scheme, everything that is related to the design. While the widget, it's more like the small JavaScript things that you can take, drag and drop on your website. Those are the kind of things that we do as well. Or simply adding extra features on a website or integration with a new payment provider, for example. Then we have something that is maybe a subpart, but I want to emphasize on that. That is a subpart of the existing module development or new module development, which is related to the customization of screen and reports. And when we talk about screens, it can be any type of view or any type of report also. When we talk about that, we say PDFs reports, SQL queries that we create, and then we aggregate in the reporting zone of each application. So those are the kind of things that we do as well. And related to projects, you also have things like data import, where we script high volume data imports, so that when you extract information, maybe on an automated way from one software, we receive the result. We are going to go through a script that will be written in Python, and we export a CSV that will be batched and imported in your own software with error detection and all of that. Talking about error detection, we also provide you a possibility of having us writing automated tests for your modules or for new modules. And the last thing that we cover as well is IoT development. So in case it's not clear, IoT refers to all the devices that you want to connect and integrate with Odoo through the IoT box. We have tons of it already available, but there's more that we can create for your need if we don't cover already the device that you want to link to Odoo. So now, as you can see, I'm currently in a kitchen, and our kitchen and your kitchen for the development will be Odoo SH. This is a platform that we support and the platform that we want to push forward for all the developments that we are going to create for you. When our development team is going to propose a new module, they are going to test it and show you how it works based on Odoo SH. That's an environment simply to which you have access. As a partner, you know that you can create as many as you want for testing purposes. And on our side, it will make it easier to push this development to you so that you can test it. We all have access to it, so it's the right platform. It's important to understand that the development that we make should be tested on Odoo SH, but it doesn't mean that it has to be run in production on Odoo SH. You can use your own environment, your own hosting. It's not a problem for us. The only thing that we say is that we don't want to become experts in Docker, in Kubernetes, or any type of other hosting or platform that we don't care too much. We are experts in Odoo, and we don't want to investigate the platform on which you are working. For us, what really matters is the business logic that we are going to create with Python, is the interface that we are going to build in JavaScript. Those are the kind of things for which we are experts, not the environment on which you would like to host your software. We said that we are going to work in a kitchen. We are also going to provide you with the best cook, so which are the developers for us. The only thing that we ask on your side is that you provide us with the best recipe. And for us, the recipe is quite simple. It's simply a specification that you are going to write.
But I've never written any recipe. I just know what I want to eat.
Yes, you know what you want to eat, and if you don't know how to write a recipe, you ask us. We'll help as well, Kelly. So we have a team of people that are functional consultants that can help you creating those recipes. We are quite pragmatic on that one. So what we try to do is more like teach you how to create those recipes so that you learn and you can reuse that knowledge to converse and to work more with our developer on demand team. If you think like it's just a one-off, we can write it for you, we can write it with you, but the best is that you learn how to do it so that we can communicate further. We also have a specimen document that we can send to you so that you see what is the level of specification that we expect coming from you. So that's very important. Those business analysts and functional consultants would be then not based in India, where we have our development team. It will be more people in regional offices. Let's talk about a few examples now of development that we already made on Odoo. I will start, and you will see that it's a lot about integrations. Here, there are a few integrations with SMS gateways. A few that we can list here is SMS Po in Vietnam, so a SMS platform. Same for Africa's Talking, which is another platform in Africa, and we have also a global player here with MSG91. So those are platforms that we use for sending SMSs. You may know that we have that already available with the IAP, so the in-app purchase in Odoo, but sometimes some clients prefer to use their own integration, their own platform, for whatever reason. And so those are the kind of things that we are ready to do, so that we develop. Then other example of things we do a lot is creating some EDI interactions that we have with the following partners, Activance and Radial, that are partners of bpost in Belgium. Those are more like EDIs for fulfillment centers. And then you have also Peperi, that is an integration platform, or even Thron, that is a PIM, that we call a product information management, where you have all the catalog and all the information about your product that is going to be exchanged with Odoo, just in case you want to use Odoo, but not as the master data for your catalog, or simply that you want to push information from Odoo to that PIM. Few other ones, again, connection with a bank in Myanmar, connection with Alliant, that is a system for the printers, so that you know, it's very, very specific to that industry. Digital printing, they have a lot of stuff with specific price lists, specific products, and what we do is that we receive some JSON information from them, and we convert it to invoices so that the rest of the flow, the payment reminders and all of that can be handled in Odoo. And everything that is complex and that is related to an industry that we are not expert in can work. You have also Tyro, that is a payment system, or Haha Move, that is a carrier. So you can see it goes in many, many different directions for those big integrations. Otherwise, if you want to talk about smaller developments, here usually we talk about something like 2-3 days of work sometimes. Here a few, like something we receive a lot is customization of reports, PDF reports mainly. Usually when people ask it, it's on different documents like sale orders, pickings, invoice reports. Importing documents in Odoo, if it's not through an EDI, we can also customize and create some XML imports just for you, not specifically based on a standard. I know that we generate also sometimes attachment from different platforms, connection with Google Drive, the ability to merge products. So when you have an important product catalog and you realize that some people have been creating duplicates, we can merge it. Well, at least we developed it for our client. The ability to generate the picking return automatically when you send your first good because you know that it's going to come back in your business, validation of an address eventually as well. So all of that we have done as well. And there you have also, and that's important, I think, just to show the extent of what we can do. There you have a post-login interface that we completely revamped for a specific client. So you wouldn't be able to tell even it's Odoo that is behind, just because they wanted to have their own colors, simplify a bit some kind of encoding. Here you have the POS login. Same project here with the main screen. Again, you wouldn't be able to tell that it is Odoo behind. And we can even link that when you see such a development that is really more like interface-based, that is about changing JavaScript and XML and the look and feel of the view. You can see that we can also link that to a new feature here, because we talk here about a receipt that is being sent to the WhatsApp number of the person that is purchasing something. So we can adapt and we can have different development at the same time. There's, of course, no problem for that. Question that you may ask is it what you need? That you would be the best one to tell us, but maybe we can cover a few sub-cases of developers on demand project that we have at the moment. So here I'm going to talk mainly about 1 and 2, which is usually we come here with the developers on demand team when you don't have enough developers on your side. It could be simply that they are busy, or simply that you have a smaller team or somebody left and you don't want to turn down to refuse a project. In that case, you just come to us. We are going to discuss and see how many developers that you need. And that's the specific perfect case for which this offer is really, really good. It could happen also that you don't even have any dev. In that case, it's not an issue in the sense that if you have a good project manager and that you are able to create the specifications, we can still work with you. We are going to put you directly in touch with the project manager on the Indian's office. Usually, as we said, if you have troubles creating the specifications yourself, we are going to include also a functional consultant in the loop. That's for case 2. And then sometimes we got some questions like, what if you want to learn how to develop on Odoo in Python or JavaScript? In this case, it's not the team that we are talking about here. We have a proper training team in each regional offices. So it wouldn't be here that number 3 for the Odoo developers on demand. And in 4, we have lots of various things like performance assessment, or like all those little things, you know, like review of your code also. Those are kind of things that we don't do with this offer, and that are also handled by regional offices. So usually 1 and 2, yes, it is for the developers on demand offer. Otherwise, it's more like for another service. When we talk about the teams and how we work with partners, it's usually like that. As you can see, there's a happy client on one side, then you have the partner that is working with the client and with us, and we are going to propose a team of different developers, always assisted by a project manager. So that's always the person, that PM, that project manager that you are going to talk to. It will be the interface between you and the developers, and behind that project manager, you can have a team of from 1 to 5 persons, depending on the size of the project and the speed at which you would like it to move. That is rather for a bigger project where we are going to talk about more than 50 days of development. But for smaller projects, and there we range it from 3 to 50, it's more like we have 1 PM and 1 dev. And what is important here is that usually when we talk about that amount of days of development, the project manager is going to be around 1/4 to 1/5 of the time, the global time of the developer. So that we are going to see in a second. Talking about the pricing, of course, here if I take the previous slide, and that together we mix it with the pricing ID, you will reach something like $120 or euro, depending on your price list for the developer, while we are talking about 200 euro or dollars per day for the project manager. Remember, again, 1/4 or 1/5 of the time for the PM related to the dev. That's the price per day, and there's just a one-time fee that we ask also that acts as a threshold, and for us it's also for setting up the project, for which we need a bit of time from our PM and our developer. Sometimes also we are going to discuss a bit the estimates during this phase where we receive the fee. So that's really important. It's just happening once per project. And then behind you can see that between you and the client there's a question mark, simply because on our side we have prices that are quite clear for you, but you know that what you invoice to your client, it's none of our business. So you decide what you want to do with the days that that you have taken for developers on demand. Very important as usual, don't forget about the maintenance. All of the development that is made by Odoo is supported by a maintenance contract, which means that we are going to invoice your client, and that 80% plus of this amount is coming back to your pocket. And if you want to discuss that with your AM and with your client, be our guest, but you know that on our side we always maintain our code. If you got some development in mind and that you feel like, okay, this offer seems great, I know about the team, I know about the people, I know how it is happening, but what about the amount of days that I need to perform the development that I have in mind for a client? 2 ways here to enter in contact with us. As usual, for you, dear partners, is going to your account managers. They know better what to do when you have an estimate or a request for a developer on demand team. Other possibility, and I'm sorry I didn't shorten the URL, you go on odoo.com/page/developers with an S on demand, and you will be in touch with one of our guys in India directly, those PM I was mentioning about in the previous slide. Other possibility, you can simply Google it, Odoo Developer on Demand, and you will find it directly as a first result on Google. Maybe another thing I should say about the partnership. If you think it's interesting and you were hesitating becoming a partner, and that this extra help that we can provide through the developers on demand is interesting to you, simply go on odoo.com, and deep down below you will find the become a partner link, and you will be guided by the hand, and you will enter in contact with one of our representatives for the partnership team. So don't hesitate, we'll be there. Kelly, have I been clear during this presentation?
I think it was very clear. Thank you, Antoine, for that. But I bet that some of you out there do have questions. So if you do, please shoot them on the chat, and bon appetit.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Antoine, for this talk.
Thanks, Germain.
So feel free to ask your question in the live chat. We will answer this with Antoine. We have a first question, Antoine, from One Mile Code that is wondering, can we actually use the DoD services to create module for the community version?
No, that we don't do. So at the moment, what we have is that we have a team of 20 developers, and they are already packed and have quite some work with everything that is related to the enterprise version. So we work exclusively on the enterprise version with an enterprise contract. So it's important. Maybe there's not yet an enterprise contract, but it's coming along with the development. In that case, we are going to work. We are going to do it and work with you, but we are not going to develop on a community version or in the mind of having a community version installed after for the client. So no, strictly enterprise.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. And in case of if we develop some module with the DoD service,
Yeah.
who is the actually owner of the module?
It's not us. By default, we don't ask especially what is the agreement to have, because usually when you have a partner, there are at least 3 persons involved. You have the client, you have Odoo, you have the partner. On our side, we don't mind being the ones having the repository, but usually what we do is that we ask the partner to create the repository on GitHub. That is their property. We work on the repository for the time being. So for the amount of weeks that we need to work, we have access to a repository. And if you want to remove us after the moment where the code is put in production and there is no extra development expected that you can do, you remove us from the repository and it is your property or your client's property. It's always a discussion to have. Don't hesitate to ask, but on our side, it doesn't matter. I mean, we don't have to stay the owner of the project, not at all. Well, the project, the repository.
Okay, thank you. I see that we have also an interesting question from Alejandro. So how does that work with the specification? Does Odoo provide any kind of assistance to create those?
Yeah, so there are different ways we can help. First way is that if people don't know exactly what is a specification, I would advise, like I did in the video, to have a call with us so that we explain the kind of level that we expect in terms of specification, so that the team in India is fed with proper specification, with a level that they understand, and that is readable, understandable. Don't forget that everything needs to be in plain English, of course. After that, I know that there are different types of partners. Some are already quite good with technical aspect of Odoo and with a, let's say, an experienced functional consultant. In that case, usually that consultant knows already a few technical aspects, will talk in terms of business objects, a bit already a few technical things, will talk in terms of views, in terms of inheritance. It depends. Sometimes it's really a partner that is very good as a BA or project manager, and sometimes it's somebody that has already a few technical experience, and then it's a bit smoother if we go for someone that already has a bit of technical experience. But yeah, usually we work on different levels of specifications.
Okay.
We have an example. So in the sense that we have a document that we send usually when people want to know what is the level of spec that is expected. We send you an example saying, okay, that is more or less what we expect from you. If you reach that level, that's okay. We are able to understand. Maybe a last thing is that during the project, and already a bit before, it's possible to enter in contact with us. There's a way you can enter in contact with the Indian team for estimates, and usually at that moment, we will know if we need to provide estimate. It's usually based on specifications as well. So for them, the Indian team, they enter in contact, there's a call, there's a small demonstration on Odoo saying, okay, this is what I would like, here's the document, it's 20 pages, can you take the time to read it and give me your feedback about the estimate? It's very smooth, and so it helps knowing, okay, is the level of spec good? Acceptable, and can we work based on that? If not, we are going to say it without hesitation, and then after that, maybe there's a second occurrence and a review of the spec before it is sent again to the Indian team.
Okay. And so as it is a great opportunity, ANIU was wondering, is this services only available for partner or also for end clients?
It is available for both, but at the moment it's something we promote for partners because usually clients can be served also by other teams in Belgium. You know that we have an approach where we try to find workarounds, like not go directly into development always, so we are always going to challenge the partner or the client. But it's true that it can be used directly by clients if they know how to write specs, but usually clients lack that level of communication. Maybe some clients have IT people that can communicate and that know already Odoo, but usually it's quite a minority of clients, so mainly partners, I would say.
Okay, great. And would you have any kind of example for integration with Marketplace, for example?
Done by us. I don't know if we have an example of Marketplace. If you have a look on the apps platform, there are already a few that exist with Amazon. I've seen Walmart somewhere in the questions. Amazon, it already exists. Walmart, that I don't know. But it can be done. I mean, in the pipe at the moment, we have a customization that is expected for SAP with a few products and partners, like contact synchronization, we were around 30, 40 days of work because there were some extra steps. But communicating with SAP, with Amazon, with any kind of software, I won't say it's always the same, but we are used to that. If you have a look at, in the video, we explain that we are connected and that some of the integration we made were with external services. And the team in India does that I would say, on a daily basis. So we're not afraid to say, yeah, we could do it for Walmart, for example.
Okay, great. I also see that Munir had a kind of functional question. He was wondering that can we actually automatically send estimation of quotation from the website? Is it something we can do in standard, or would we need the DoD services for that, according to you?
That's a good question. It depends on how you want to automate that. Like if you have computations to make, by essence, by default, you will have to have at least some kind of development. No, I'm not saying that it is big enough to be sent to India. Big enough because usually there's a kind of a small setup to do. So I would say if you have more than 3 days of development, go for the Indian offer. This one is maybe smaller. I would say that there is, in my opinion, there would be development for this one. Okay. Even though now it could be as a first step a workaround where you have we have a form builder on the website. What you could do is say, okay, next to my quote, this is a document that I'm asking the client. I'm not directly answering with a quote, but I'm answering after I've received the document, skimmed the document, analyzed it, and I send an email after that. So that requirement could be understood both ways, but I think that, on my opinion, from what is said, it would be a bit of development.
Okay. We don't have that much time left, but maybe could you give us quickly an idea of how do we estimate the time and the price of a development?
Yeah, sure. So what happens is that usually we have those specifications that comes in. Then we are going to discuss that with the Indian team and ask them plainly, okay, what time do you think it will take to perform that development? It's a same discussion. Then we bring the partner in and we say, okay, this is what we would do for you in terms of development. And it's a discussion. Sometimes we remove part of the development. Sometimes they feel like, okay, it's not that many days. Let me add a few other options. It's really a discussion. And then we communicate with a quote that the partner can sign with an estimate in terms of days. And we invoice end of the month. And if more is needed, it will be for the next month. And yeah, that's it. So basically based on meetings and specifications. Specifications will be best.
Okay, but thanks a lot, Antoine, for sharing your idea on these services. So if you're interested into the DoD services, you can either contact your account manager, contact Odoo directly, or contact Antoine. Yep. Thanks a lot to everyone for being with us and to watch this talk. Yep. And yeah, I would encourage you to keep on watching the other talks. But thank you, Antoine.
Thanks,
have a good evening.
Bye. Bye.